Hi everyone. Welcome back to the Monday Spooktacular. I'm Music PBD, your host, and today I'm going to be tackling the finale of Vampire the Masquerade: Shadows of New York. So I guess to kind of catch everybody up on the story so far, our heroine, Julia, a cutting-edge journalist from New York City, is now the La Sombre representative for New York City and has gotten caught up in investigating the murder of Baron Callahan, the leader of the Sabbat in New York City. So she's been busy. And I think we're at the beginning of the end at the very least. So let's get to it. Hang on just a minute here. Hey, Moon, my lone, constant companion. When I moved here for good from, the old country, you were the only close friend who kept me company. Never felt in the right place back there. Never felt in the right place here. Especially now, when I'm not quite alive, not quite dead. Not that Slavic, not that American. But maybe it's about time I finally carve out some space for myself. It's been a long road, hasn't it? Wish me luck. I catch him in front of the art hole because, of course, he had to be the first person I met there. No way. No. I'm going to be the laughingstock of the entire city if I don't show up to the resolution of my own investigation. How about you demonstrate a modicum of courtesy? Courtesy? Girl, I should put you on trial. I can't guarantee I eventually won't. You've messed with Kaiser, the eminence grisée of this city. Beaten him to a pulp like a random goon. He will do everything he can to destroy you from now on, and my bet is he'll succeed. Whatever will be, will be. For now, at the very least, I'd like to show the court I'm not a baby fledgling who can't see a task she was given to the end. You're making a huge mistake. How did you ever learn this meeting is happening in the first place? Maybe I'm not as trash an investigator as you thought I was. I never said, but you're showing it. That's not a fair assessment. I wanted to finish this whole mess myself for your own good. It would be nice if you asked what I think next time. I'm actually pissed off he tried to pull this off without me, but I'm not letting it show, counting on being able to guilt trip him into submission. His deep sigh of resignation proves that my tactic was successful. Fine, but you will stay quiet the whole time. No tricks, ifs, or buts. But of course. This way. We step into the maw of the gallery. The celebrations of power are almost over. Everyone is back to their usual respective styles again, looking weary of each other's company, trapped in their own little worlds. The art hole is nearly empty now, and Kadir is gently strong-arming the last remaining nobodies into leaving the premises. Eventually, only me and a select few New York Camarilla VIPs remain. Ah, Miss Sawinski. Barely made it, huh? The asshole with the glued-on smile spots me first, and he's just as authentically enthused to see me as ever. So he finally showed his face around here. I wasn't sure if you'd join us tonight. Kadir made this meeting sound like a one-man show. The preparations took me a bit longer than I thought they would. I apologize. Are you, by chance, planning to surprise us with something? Well, if I was planning something, it wouldn't be a surprise if I told you, now would it? Can I have everyone's attention, please? We're about to begin. Everyone remaining in the building gathers around Kadir. Ah, exciting. Is everyone present? Present. and accounted for. My prince? Yes. Before we begin, let me welcome an unusual guest to our fold. She gestures toward a corner from behind which emerges a silhouette that would never, ever have appeared here under normal circumstances. Name's Torque. I'm the Baron of the Bronx. I was delegated here by my compatriots as an oversight authority. I'm here to observe the results of the investigation. Nothing more, nothing less. Let me stress this one last time. This is a one-time occurrence meant to alleviate the tensions in the city, not a symbol of mutual recognition, not in the slightest. I peek at Addison's face to get a feel for how a hardline loyalist might grapple with this arrangement. His expression betrays no surprise, only its slight discomfort. Even if he is fine with it, the prince must have been extremely convincing about the necessity of a temporary truce, or about some Machiavellian tactic she's got ready up her sleeve. Who knows? Of course, we might have irreconcilable differences, but there are times they have to be temporarily put aside in order to quell unrest and open paths for constructive, meaningful change. If anyone would like to voice their concerns, the time is now. Torque, Arturo, and Panard exchange glances. Normally, I'd consider it an innocent gesture. Knowing what I know, I roll my eyes. A stick or a carrot, Torque? What made you break and sell your compatriots? How much do you really know? If not, Kadir? May I? He steps into the middle of the room and clears his throat theatrically. First, let me plainly state that the conclusion I'm going to present is by no means my own achievement. It is the result of a tireless investigation conducted by talented kindred I won't name here. A telling glance in Torque's direction serves as a succinct explanation for why he refuses to call them by their names. And of course, Julius Sawinski, whose ceaseless groundwork over the past few nights served as a foundation for the findings that are about to be revealed here. Thank you, Julia. It's not the first time he sets out to oversell my achievements. As the sheriff, my role here is mostly representative. I spent the last few days, overseeing the celebrations in Elysium, making sure no harm would befall anyone present. Luckily, none did. Looks like the prince's decision to move forward with the event was the correct one. And for that, we should extend our thanks to Kadir, and let us not overlook our guest to a degree. I managed to convince my key allies that diplomatic action is the only way forward in this case. No matter how wrong-headed the enemy can be, we still need avenues to negotiate and communicate. I'm curious how Tamika would react to him looking like a corporate, designing the future order, dismissing potential for change that lies in unrest. No wonder she dumped him. Spare us the empty pleasantries and let Kadir move on. I don't have all night for this. Right. I'll be concise. Douglas Boss Callahan's remains were found in his office by one of his ghouls first thing in the evening. The first kindred to confirm it was another Anarch Baron, Torque, present here. A mystery book author would refer to the circumstances of Callahan's death as a classic closed room mystery. The metal door, locked from the inside, served as the sole way in. There was no murder weapon, no useful testimonies, and the evidence was, how do I put it, barely circumstantial at best. What was left for us was one hell of a puzzle, where the answer couldn't even be approached using the tried and tested question, cui bono? We were presented with a poorly timed power upheaval, a tense situation where a long-planned celebration was in danger. Suddenly, all of us were faced with an uncertain future. Everybody benefited, yet nobody did. No one was especially fond of Callahan, but it's not like anyone seemed particularly keen on removing him from the equation, especially at this time. For a moment, we were sure that this was the beginning of an offensive on the part of the Camarilla. We started wondering just how violent our retaliation should be. And as for us, We were momentarily convinced that the anarchs were plotting to blame us for their own internal power struggles. A tense situation, resolved only thanks to skillful and swift diplomacy. Dare I say, yet another victory for our talented prince? Julia made sure to examine all the contacts Callahan might have had in his last days in both sects. Her efforts were tireless, and only rarely misguided. He just had to spit out at least one biting remark, didn't he? Ah well, he's probably just covering his ass. But as exhaustive as they might have been, they only served to muddle the possibilities, not explain them. Callan had a lot of enemies, but they were the most infuriating kind of enemies one can have. Folks who barely ever thought of him anymore. In other words, no one really had a particular interest in getting rid of him, because they could always simply work their way around him. Just before last Christmas, he even witnessed the first ever successful First Light raid against his extremely profitable blood trade supply lines. The lone ace up his sleeve, a downright shady ability to perfectly maneuver around all SI activities, was gone. Callahan's decline was apparent to all, and a domino effect made his empire slowly crumble. Up until recently, he'd done an admirable job keeping up with the times and getting away with murder, but suddenly all of the prison spotlights were on him. The recent stories we hear about him all depict a depressed, downright manic recluse lashing out at everyone, struggling and utterly failing to fit into the new reality he found himself in. A closed room, no evidence of a struggle, a lack of strong why-done-its, the corpse being found in the very early evening hours. The conclusion is simple. Callahan's final death was self-inflicted. Suicide, to put it in simple terms. Silence has filled the room. So, wow. That really is the angle they'll be pushing, isn't it? Let's hear it, Sheriff. I will explain. It was an independent detective who first set me onto this theory, only last night. There is no suicide note of any kind, of course, but the message our recently departed has sent might not necessarily have been a verbal one. The peculiar thing was the position of the body. It was like an arrow pointing at us to notice something. It appears the last thing Callahan saw in his unlife was a portrait of one Lord Castlereagh, the second Marquess of Londonderry, which is, coincidentally, where Callahan was born. To most, he was a reviled traitor, a heartless suppressor of all dissent, the main threat against each rebellion the Irish have gone through, successful in all ways but those that mattered to his people. Some call him a tragic figure, holding together selfish allies against a common threat, always fighting for painful and unpopular compromises, ruined by overwork, sickness, and poor public speaking skills. Not hard to see why Douglas Callahan would empathize. Polite snickers. Indeed, especially when you realize that the sickness in his blood, his failures, the hatred from his own people, and a growing paranoia led him to commit a dramatic suicide within his own four walls. Ah, I see. The assumption is, instead of stabbing himself to death with a knife or a pen, he decided to let the suns embrace him in its warmth, Castlereagh's face burning into his eyes. A poetic final death. It's not a closure we might have wanted, but probably the best explanation of his motivation that we're going to get. Does everyone follow? A heavy silence fills the room. Nobody speaks up, except Prince Bernard. To me, it's all perfectly understandable, agreeable, and most importantly, it fits the man I've come to understand over the last 2 decades. Consentient murmurs resonate throughout the room. Man, this is some fuck shit. Like, we all know that's not what happened. Come on now. Agreed, and might I add, there were some irregularities in the handling of the crime scene, but the Anarch leader's findings suggested Callahan's resentful ghouls were to blame. Folks have been real happy to see him dead, is all I'm saying, and they went overboard with the celebrations. They've all been interrogated, though. Yes, I have received all the resulting intel, and it's done nothing to change my mind. Their depictions of Callahan's state of mind only serve to support the suicide theory. It is my suggestion that we all announce these findings to our respective communities first thing tomorrow night. Sounds reasonable, and I think that concludes this meeting. I'll let the Keeper of the Elysium do the honors. No time wasted, huh? All right. Does anyone have anything to add? Any questions to ask? Take your time. Silence. I look at everyone just sitting it out in perfect agreement. Congrats, everyone. Congrats, us. We've achieved a perfect victory. No loose ends. No rocking the boat. No nothing. Makes you want to puke. How many of them contributed to this final report? How strongly does Kadir believe the shit running from his mouth? He's always been a Camarilla loyalist. A fanatic, even. But, Miss Julia, any final statements? This is it. Now or never. If anyone can blow this pathetic charade wide open, it's me. But there's no coming back from this road. And it has a cost. I've spent all my life and unlife on social climbing, and the sunken cost fallacy is kicking in. Challenging them here might be my only way of ever making it out of the pit I'm in. On the other hand, maybe this is my time to head into the unknown. Kill my ego, at least temporarily. Shut up the voice of the elders screaming in my head. Betray my La Sombra instincts. Make all these ghosts go away and figure out something new, no matter how scary it might be. Do I dare? Or maybe I don't. I feel like there's an incredible prize to be won waiting right in front of me if I just dare take out this revolver with its single bullet I have hidden on me and invite everyone here for a crazy game of Russian roulette. But I also get this foreboding gangster movie feeling, like this is the scene where the future mobster could have gotten out, but he didn't. In the end, did Callahan think all the splendor of the golden era was worth this pathetic end? It's like there are two selves battling for dominance inside of me. One of them has to die. The other gets to live. Honestly, it's a flip of the coin. I reflect on all the kindred I've met, lessons I've learned, choices I've made over these past few nights to make a decision. And then, feeling like I'm simply following the way I conducted this investigation to its logical conclusion, I respond. No, nothing. Kadir's done an excellent job of summing up the entire case. A barely detectable tension in the air disappears. This was the first time they might have had to reckon with something I said, but luckily for them, turns out they won't. Well, looks like that's all, folks. Yes, looks like it. Excellent. Might I be going now, then? Places to be, kindred to see. Took the words right out of my mouth. You can see it in some of their faces. Everyone is happy. Samira, will you escort Mr. Torque out? Me and Thomas will have to appease Mr. Payne for disrupting the sanctity of the Elysium. Certainly. Right this way. Tomorrow night, we're back to being enemies, of course. Of course. Isn't that just what you wanted to hear, Addison? Oh, spare me the condescension, Helene. During the commotion, I'm approached by Kadir. He looks me in the eye and makes a show of exhaling deeply. I have to go and see everyone back to safety now, but thank you for not pulling any stupid tricks. I really appreciate it. Who did you think I am? Someone else, and I apologize for that. Sometimes you just see something and completely misinterpret it. We'll think about how to handle the future, particularly the Kaiser issue, tomorrow. All right? If I'm even here tomorrow. He pats me on the back with a short, awkward smile. See you then. Everyone slowly scatters, but I just sit there, keeping eye contact with the only person here I still have some unfinished business with. The art hole should have its doors closed by now, but nobody considers it weird that I'm staying. After all, the only person that is still accompanying me is the keeper of the Elysium. Yeah, probably. Aren't they a happy bunch? All's well that ends well. People were getting nervous, like you really had some good cards to play. You're a poker player? Occasionally. It's a very socialite thing to do. Played with Jennifer Tilly once. Must be easy to keep a poker face with, you know. I know. It does help. And you do seem to know a lot about the cards other people are holding. Like all great games, poker does share some principles, lessons, and necessary skill sets with real life. I take out another smoke. This conversation is bringing the tension back, like two fencers, carefully looking for a hole in each other's defense. I found a file about you in Kaiser's car. Seems like he's worried about you, the only unpredictable variable in his equations. See, that's the one card I didn't predict you drawing. Speaking of not predicting something, when I was waking up tonight, I didn't expect a good friend would provoke me into coming here. Who might that have been? Not a lot of people in this room had an inclination to act friendly towards me in any way whatsoever. Sure looks like someone made a risky play. Even great players make dangerous plays sometimes. Do you know why? No idea. Boredom. It's boredom that gets to you. Even when you love the game, there's always this fear that it might turn into a perfectly predictable series of optimal plays. Time to make a play that might not seem optimal at the moment then. A direct attack. You're not really Catherine V's, are you? I don't know who else I could be. Let me phrase it differently then. You're not a Katerina the Wise, the agitator of Prague, a Bruja elder causing turbulences all over the world, are you? She laughs. That file must have been pretty thorough. Kaiser knows what he's doing. That's why I'm afraid of what he might do to me to get revenge. Rightfully so. Maybe I'll help him out in exchange for a favor. Snuff out a La Sombre meddler, strike a partnership, promise to keep each other in check. If that was a joke, it wasn't very funny. And just so you know, I've made precautions. It was a bluff. Honestly, I expected more of a reaction. Kaiser's documents. Did they mention anything about Ostrava? They say that's where you were born, as Hanna Urbanova. Was unlucky enough to immigrate to New York City at the perfect age, and with a pretty accent, approximating that of Ekaterina. Honestly explains a lot. Kadir told me that Eiling once organized a blood hunt after Catherine, Ekaterina, that she was both a liability and too intertwined with the city's history to give up on her. This solution, you were deemed the best possible compromise by all the parties involved. The particulars aren't really described. It is theorized that blood magic was used, maybe flesh crafting. I do remember a few images. Her accomplice's embrace. Christoph, the man who caught me, apologizing that the others broke my jaw, as if he wasn't to blame. Violent brainwashing. But what's done is done. I may not be Ekaterina the Wise, but I'm definitely Catherine V's now. I feel as good about the situation as I probably can. She's the brooding Batman and you're the fun-loving Bruce Wayne. Zorro and Diego de la Vega, something like that. A debutante who sleeps a lot and parties a lot, only has to do something unpleasant from time to time. Do you hate her? Sometimes, but I mostly pity her. I've come to accept my fate, and don't even feel much trauma when I see my jaw in the mirror the way she does. Some pig broke hers centuries ago, and she still relives the assault every time she catches a glimpse of her own face. All that power, all that reach, all the appearances, still not enough. Don't get me wrong, but is there a point to all these questions? Oh, there definitely is. I think it was reading your file that made me ultimately decide against turning this investigation upside down. Was it now? An immigrant from Eastern Europe comes to New York City, takes the position she always expected to find herself in, is molded into someone who's no longer herself. A story struck a chord. I felt like you were, maybe, ever so slightly pushing me to follow your way, to lose myself in a position of considerable power. I could see Julius Sawinski sharing Hanna Urbanova's fate, and to be honest, it scared the shit out of me. Catherine shakes her head. Funny. Ostrava is just 15 kilometers away from Poland's border. I know. Think I've been there once when I was a kid. Parents love to travel. Who doesn't? She takes my smoke, turns back, takes a deep drag, and returns it to me. All of these long-established organizations, with time, their practices always degenerate, start draining everything out of their participants, turn into a cycle of abuse aimed at no one in particular. But the funny thing is, if the victims aren't allowed into positions where they can perpetuate the abuse, they feel the abuse is aimed specifically at them. There's no winning move here. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? I think you're making excuses for yourself? She desperately tries to stop it, but she laughs. Sounds a bit like a harpy screaming, but it's strangely endearing. I take a drag of the cigarette she took from me earlier. My inner grade schooler excitedly informs me it's an indirect kiss. Let's walk outside. I need to close up shop. Dawn is almost here, and we still need to talk about how we're going to get you out of Kaiser's grasp. I nod and follow her to the street. So I hear you've been living with a human. Yeah, it didn't work out. Oh? Why is that? I don't know how this, do I dare to call it, sisterly bond came to happen, and I know it can't last beyond tonight, but I'm savoring every second. She's been, it turns out she's been single white femaling me. I don't follow. I come home, I find her wearing my clothes, smoking my cigarettes, pretending to be me, the creepiest thing in the world. So you find that pretending to be someone else is the creepiest thing in the world. I see how it is. Oh, piss off. That's a low blow. Why would she do that? No idea. I just yelled at her and saw her running out. She's probably back home now, I hope. No, I don't. I don't know. I know it looks bad, but maybe you should just, ask her why she did it. And then make an informed decision. What are you talking about? That would be reasonable. I don't do that. She loses herself in thought for a moment, visibly torn whether or not to tell me something. This might just be Ekaterina speaking, but I was thinking about you two and Carthage. Everyone is arguing with her about that name. Some people claim it has too much historical baggage. It's a myth. It didn't work. It was still vampires taking advantage of humans. But it's still a beautiful dream, and you two are like the embodiment of it. You mean that apocryphal story where Carthage was not destroyed because Romans were greedy for land, but because kindred and kind coexisted there in harmony? That's a pretty deep cut, How long ago were you embraced again? I've been reading a lot to catch up. The inner journalist / former copywriter in me still refuses to die. Again, it might as well be Ekaterina speaking, sending you to die for her pipe dream, but that's the best option I can think of to get away from here with a goal in mind. I'm listening. Head for the Anarch Free State of California. Look for a man named Giles. If you're alone, you might have to do a lot to prove yourself. If you're with your friend, you might have to do a little less. If you succeed, you will be able to fight for the noble cause of establishing New Carthage. It's hopeless, but no matter what tough act Kadir is putting on, still better than waiting for Kaiser to act. Might as well give it a shot then, see what's next. Thank you. Don't thank me, you idiot. I'm sending you to the West Coast to die, just so you're not here to blabber about me to Kaiser, and so that I can please my boss. Now scram. The sun is almost up. Sure. Thank you nevertheless, just to piss you off some more. Anything else I should know? I don't exactly know how practicing you are. Not even Father Leonard knows. But in an hour of peril, keep St. Jude, the patron saint of desperate causes, in mind. I'm not even religious, really, but in my darkest hour, someone told me to keep him in mind. And maybe I wouldn't be here if he didn't. Yeah, I know of St. Jude. In happier times, Mom used to joke he was the patron saint of her sex life. I see. Fellow Catholic guilt survivor, huh? That classic Eastern European upbringing. I'm not admitting to anything. Stay safe, Catherine. And thank you. See you again someday, somewhere, Julia. Although, probably not. I wave at her for the first and probably the last time and leave the Elysium behind. Hey. Hey. She's sitting on the bed. It's obvious she was crying before, but she's trying her best to hold up. Where were you? I was finishing my big investigation. She sniffs. So, how was it? I fucked it up big time. Didn't even put up a fight. Don't tell me you expected anything different. I did, actually. You used to be a shining example of investigative journalist. Maybe I never felt comfortable being an example. The wince on her face proves that got to her. I'm not happy with who I am. Jesus, you're really copying me in every damn respect, aren't you? Fuck you, I'm being serious. I know, I'm not trying to be an asshole. Or rather, trying not to be an asshole. We really are two leeches who got stuck to each other, huh? Like a two-person human centipede loop or something. An Ouroboros or a Mobius strip? I got lost in my own metaphors. I take out another smoke and slowly decide what to say. You're extremely good-looking, kind, endlessly energetic. You've got a steady job as an artist and an even steadier influx of cash. Why would you want to be someone else? You're extremely good-looking, clever, talented as fuck, immortal, and eternally young. But you still have that horribly deep well of self-loathing within you for some godforsaking reason, and it fucks me up as much as it does you. Probably. Yeah, I get it, but single white female? It was an impulse. It was the first time I did it, I swear. I didn't know what got into me. That timing was just fuck. Maybe I just wanted to see if I could be a better you than you. I don't know. Maybe I need therapy, but I'm tired of looking for the kind of therapy that feels like it works and is not just brainwashing me. She might be lying, but I don't want to believe she's lying. I choose to believe she's not lying. What do I have to lose? I think I want to give it one more shot. She raises her head. Do you? Yeah, I think I do. There is one condition, though. She shoots me a cold look. What condition? I told you I fucked up my investigation, but not how badly. It looks like I'm no longer safe in New York City. I need to run first thing tomorrow evening, and the only way out I see is a bunch of loons living on the West Coast who are trying to bring out a utopia where humans and vampires could coexist. It's probably even more dangerous than staying here, to be honest, not to mention how dangerous it could be for you, and I haven't even figured out how we're going to get there safely, but yeah. I'm beyond tired of sitting on my ass and collaborating with monsters. This is the first page of the second chapter. This is a lot to take in. I know. But I think I'm in. I know I'm in. You've got a future. You've got rich parents. You don't have to do this. In case you missed it, having rich parents is like a goddamn, original sin in my book. I don't want to coast in their money. I want to try doing something that fucking matters. Are you certain? About as certain as I am that the deep state exists. That's good enough for me. I'm off to sleep. The sun's probably already up. I'll pack up your clothes. What for? Are you planning to unleash Dark Dakota on me again? Don't say anything. As I said, trying not to be an asshole. It's a process. The day went by and I woke up just like any other night. This was the first surprise. Dakota following through with the plan was the second. We're leaving the city. I don't know about her, but I'm kind of hoping it'll burn the moment we leave. Fuck all these out-of-touch psychotic assholes who murdered Callahan and partied on his grave all week. Fuck the opportunists who couldn't even seize the moment and do what had to be done. Fuck this temple of mammon where truth is impossible to find. Fuck the Bronx. Fuck Brooklyn. Fuck Queens. Fuck Staten Island. And fuck Manhattan. Fuck Manhattan in particular. Okay. I'm done. I'm probably going to try to stop at motels, drink from truckers and hitchhikers and whatever. Exciting. We'll be like a pair of serial killers prowling America's highways. Remember Near Dark, that nomadic vampire movie? Of course I do. Is that what we're planning to do in the Midwest? Maybe. Maybe not. We'll improvise. It just hit me. Won't the motels and such be closed because of the virus, though? Shit, I don't know. I didn't think about that. Maybe I really should have robbed a bank and just paid the circulatory system goons to smuggle us to the West Coast. Ah, whatever. Might be fun. Remember, you'll be the one paying for everything. I don't want to expose myself to anything, and I don't want to expose anyone to anything. I've seen enough shit talking online about this exodus of New Yorkers who are probably spreading that thing all around the country right now. You know... So, story time, guys. At the beginning of COVID, I happened to be in New York teaching some classes, and it was right before everything shut down, and passed through New York City, and yeah, it wasn't a good time. Let's just put it that way. Lucky to be alive, honestly. Gotcha. We should wash the car, I think, and you'll be disinfecting yourself before any time we touch. Okay, that's just being freaky. And maybe you should wear a mask. Nope, it's the land of the free and the home of the brave. I guess. Hey, yeah? Do you love me? Of course I do. For now, at least. I still don't know if I love her. Or if I can even love anyone, for that matter. I'm a fucking monster, after all. I don't even know if we'll exist next month. The prospects are not looking good. But although I can't see myself in the rearview mirror right now, I will remember this image of us leaving the city, somewhat melancholic and somewhat hopeful, forever. And maybe the meaning of this image will be clarified with time, or maybe I will just force a more positive description on it, and that is what I'll believe. No matter what happens, even if oceans of blood lie before us, I will make this a cherished memory. Whatever possible salvation still remains for me, it probably lies in the eyes of the other. Well. All right. Wasn't the ending I was hoping for, but probably not as bad as it could have been. Anyway, guys, I'm going to hang it up for tonight, but I'll see you on Sunday for the Sunday dinner, and next Monday's Spooktacular. I'm probably going to start on Coteries of New York, so make sure you join me for that. I'll see you soon.